Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make a correct choice at the ballot box. Welcome, everybody. We've got a good show for you tonight. A lot of stuff happening. Only 5 more days till election. And stuff happening here at the main studio here. Uh, my PC decided to take a dump, so I'm back to the old laptop. So uh, we'll we'll make it work. So let's get this show on the road. Let's welcome my ghoulish friend from Muskogee, Oklahoma. He's not Allenberg. He is Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? I decided to bring out the dragon's blood because we need something to just kick us over the top, and I'm going red, so.
Yep, yep.
Have you got your mic pulled up close to you? Because usually I can see it in your screen, and you got it. You're still
No,
sounding a
I
little
don't.
far.
The mic is on the camera
Oh, that's
because
why. Okay. All right.
because for some reason StreamYards it won't let me use the mic from the task cam,
Oh, okay. All
but
right.
it would when my PC was working.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's what's going on. Cold weather finally here in the Denver area. We had our first big freeze, so I had to go out and scrape the windows. Nothing like seeing a little dwarf like me going and only get the bottom half of the windshield done. I could do the side windows, no problem, but just go and so I'm driving like this so I could. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it. And then
Looking
we'll
through that little frost. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that little gap right there at the
Yeah.
bottom until the uh, the defroster starts working and clears up, and yeah. So I get about a third of the way to work, and then the window's cleared up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right, let's welcome all the way from the blue state of New York. It's Charles Gillespie. Welcome, welcome.
That's the
Hey,
voice right there.
hey, Lloyd, everybody in the chat.
How you doing, Charles?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain. I am going to take this off. It's a little warm, so.
I
And
bet.
no, this is not a wig. This is my real hair. This is what it looks
Ah,
like when I comb it in this style. So,
okay. Okay, cool. Cool.
yeah.
So, Trump went on the Joe Rogan show and did like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan can't get Kamala Harris to come on. She'll only come on if she comes to, meet her. And she only wants to do less than an hour.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So,
yeah,
JD Vance went on instead of her. He said, I'll fill her spot.
okay, good,
Yeah.
good, good.
So, he went on there. So, yeah. Poor Kamala. She's just, life just, but like, like I've said in the past, this, I don't trust this election uh, to be done by any means. It's, I
Right.
don't think one person has it yet. I think we may see some surprises.
Yep.
Well, we may see some surprises, and then again, we may see something that we're expecting. So,
That's
as
true.
I always say, I am pessimistically hopeful.
I thought it was cautiously
Most people
pessimistic.
are optimistic, but I know this damn party, and we screw things up invariably.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
pessimistically hopeful. Yes,
Okay. All right.
any optimism
So
when it comes to the Republicans or the conservatives in general.
so Kamala went on the Shay Club. I didn't know who hell of shit. It is Shannon Sharp, who used to play for the Denver Broncos, got a Super Bowl ring. I think he's got a couple Super Bowl rings. And so she goes on his show. He doesn't ask any tough questions. So it's basically softball questions with the side of salad. Yeah. And Lloyd looks puzzled. Like,
Do what now? I was checking because it looked like you guys froze up for a second.
oh, okay.
I was checking to see if it was me or if it was just you, or
Might have been just you.
so that's what I was doing, looking to see what the feed looked like.
Okay. So, like I said, Kamala went on it's Shay Club show. That's Shannon Sharp's show. I never even heard of Shay. I thought it was like Cray Cray or something like that. And but yeah, Shannon Sharp's show, former Denver Bronco Super Bowl winner. He's got a talk show now. I'm like, well, good for him. At least he's moving up from, being a color analyst for, football. That he's moving on up, has his own show, and I wish him success. So that's good to see a former Bronco make it big in the media. So
Okay.
that's what's going on. She won't go on Rogan. She's got conditions, which pretty much kills any chance of her being on before the election.
Yeah, no, I think that's a no win situation right there. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So just from what I heard, yes, and I think that's why JD Vance went on, because she wouldn't,
Right.
and of course, and then she had that closing, what they call the closing argument speech that she gave out in front of the White House. That was, it was a for Kamala.
Yeah.
And then right behind her, which is where she hopes her new house will be, right behind her was our great and glorious leader, the President of the United States, telling everybody that we're all garbage if
we're all garbage.
Yeah.
And where did that garbage comment come from? What prompted him to say that?
Well, it came off of Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden, in which there was he was a Don Rickles type guy.
Yeah.
He was a comedian that insult comedian.
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that.
Go ahead.
Anyways, he said that Puerto Rico was a floating island of trash, which it was not well taken, and it shouldn't have been said. Even if there is a grain of truth, because they have a literal problem with trash. I mean, it's just it's garbage. So, and of course, the president has since released a statement both on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, and through his lip service DEI hire, Jean Pierre, whatever the hell her name is. His press secretary,
right?
Coming out, and that's not what I meant. Listen to me. I meant to talk about that comedian.
Okay.
That's who I was referring to. So she really has. I think he did it on purpose. One, it might be his last chance to say what he really thinks of all of us that vote for Trump, and two, he really doesn't care if she wins or not. He's still pissed off about being bumped out of the election. and
Right.
justifiably so. Senile or not, he has a right to his, you know, he'd rather have gone out losing on his own merits than being booted out
That's true. That's
because
true.
all of their manipulating doesn't seem to have worked out too well yet. But we'll find out next Tuesday.
Right. Now,
And
just prior to the show, I watched that comedian's bit from the rally, and there were some pretty funny bits in there. But he's working an arena, and they're not really there to see him. They're there to see Trump. So that is a tough venue for a comedian.
yeah,
And I thought he handled it pretty good. Other than that Puerto Rico thing, I thought, okay. I think that was just
yeah,
kind of a throwaway bit, just to kind of gauge where the audience was. And he had some pretty edgy material. I thought,
yeah.
ooh,
You
that
know,
might be a little much for that kind of crowd, especially.
well,
That's
no,
a
I
morning
and I don't
crowd.
know that it's necessarily too much for that crowd. I think it's too much for the sensitivity of this country now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you, if you go back and listen to the old Dean Martin roast, they said crap that was a lot worse than what we're hearing now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And those
Uh,
haven't been blocked, or nobody seems to be protesting those. They just look at it as times were different. Yeah, they were, but
mhm.
we've also, we've lost our ability to laugh.
Yes, that's true. That's
You know,
true. Hmm. Yeah,
hey
and that's
TJ,
yes. We got TJ, we got Steve Knowles, Jay Bird, and Mark R. White, and I just got confirmation from Dominic. He got my Christmas card earlier this week, which is good. So, speaking of Christmas cards, Lloyd, I know your address by heart, so I'm going to need to get Charles' address again because my address book, I had it on an Excel spreadsheet. And when I transferred over to my PC, I was able to get Office 2003 on it. And for some reason, it was all a row of one letter. All the way, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding.
that's not good.
That is not good. So I went and brought it back to the laptop, and it looked the same. Dang it. So, so I'm going. I got my notepad over here, and I will be rebuilding my address book from
Yeah,
scratch. So, I do have Mark R. White's address. I sent him his package. I think it was Saturday morning, and so he's won last Friday's thing. It was the same one that Charles has. A little sign that says it's all fun and shits and giggles and that kind of stuff. You remember that, Charles?
No, the one you sent me was something about not allowing any fuckery here today.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, that's the one I sent to Mark R. White. He was the winner. So it was light enough that I could ship it without going through customs bullshit. So I sent it like a letter. So I put 2 stamps on it to make sure. So that's like $3 right there. Well, $3.60, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So the garbage comment, and what did Donald Trump do? Oh, he's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, driving a dump truck, wearing
Yep.
the orange fluorescent,
Yeah.
reflect jacket. And then he
Yep.
goes on stage to do his rally in that. I thought, oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Like him or dislike him, vote for him or not, but the man is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
He knows how to take something and really make it work,
Right.
And you see him like at the McDonald's, and he was talking to people and just chatting them up, and that wins a lot of points with people. And then the garbage truck thing today, it's just or yesterday, whenever it was, it was, it's just he does a great job. I mean, I'll bet the Secret Service is a little run ragged, but that's their job.
Yep.
And so, yeah. Oh, and then Mark Cuban comes out with his comment today. That's going to go over well too.
Oh, and what was that?
Basically, Donald Trump is a misogynist pig and only surrounds him. He says he only surrounds himself with men. You never see him with strong, intelligent women.
You mean
who do you think Kayleigh McEnany was?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she was a firebrand. I loved having her as the White House press secretary. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, what about Tulsi Gabbard?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
Melania Trump. She's no slouch. Trump. Ivanka or Ivana.
Nikki Haley. Isn't she the one that tried to run for president? And
Nikki Haley she was his. Yeah. She was originally his UN ambassador, and then after he got out of office, she started, kind of bad mouthing him and calling him. She called him for what it was. She wasn't going to take no BS, and she was the one who held on to the last before she finally dropped out and told her people to, and she's not. They've made peace, but they still have a little. They're still both. She's out campaigning for him,
right?
She's campaigning for the party. So, as such, she's, like today yesterday she was in one of the states for a senator that, and she was there supporting him, and he's a Republican conservative, and, and said with that, we take the Senate, we'll take the White House, we'll keep the House, and we'll be able to finally pass some of these laws that this president wants, but I mean, Mark Cuban was an idiot, and this is the problem. Sometimes I'm thinking that, as long as she's been running for politics, you'd think she'd know better, but it seems like she's making the same mistakes Trump did when he won the last time by surrounding herself with idiots, Right.
Yep.
And he's not doing that this time. And but we'll see. Like I said, the proof's in the pudding. We'll see what Tuesday brings.
Yeah,
we'll either get some yummy Christmas pudding or we'll get some spotted dick.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I saw
people don't know.
I saw an Instagram post earlier today where somebody was recording themselves attempting to vote, and they kept on trying to vote for Donald Trump, and the vote wouldn't register. Then somebody who was trying to help them came over and actually tapped Trump's name instead of the little box, and it registered to vote for Harris. This was in Kentucky. And then somebody replied to that the same kind of issue has been happening in Tennessee.
Yep.
Well, I don't know how true it is, but it's apparently ESPN Sports posted during one of the races this weekend who was going to win they put Harris as winning with 100% of the votes in. in Pennsylvania.
It did happen. The same account showed the New York Post article, a link for the New York Post article that shows that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll put that in the chat.
Of course, ESPN is owned by Disney and also owns ABC News. So
Right. That's right. And we got Joel, Skyfly Network, in the chat. Good to see you, Joel. Also,
Hey,
here
Joel.
in Colorado, we have some issues with our voting machines. Turns out there is a kind of a hidden tab on the screen that has everybody's password on it. So
Yeah.
our Secretary of State here in Colorado, she's on the hot seat, and so there might be an investigation into that. And
well, this as much as I hate it, I really don't think we're gonna know come next Tuesday. I really don't.
no,
I don't think, and this one may be like 2000, where it's decided in the Supreme Court.
yeah, true. And
I just hope we don't have the damn hanging chads things again.
Yeah.
Boy, that was
mm,
the silliest damn thing. But got to give Florida credit. After that, they really straightened their voting act up and got it.
Yeah.
And you notice it seemed like after that, Florida started more and more turning red. It's like,
yeah,
because their votes weren't being suppressed anymore.
yeah.
Just
That's
saying,
Just say- And yeah, so we've got some interesting ballot measures on here in Colorado. What say you, Lloyd? What are the interesting ballot measures in your state?
Some of our ballot situation is, of course, we are a red state, but our ballot problems, I was downtown today. I was driving through, and where I actually came by the voter bureau, the state voter bureau downtown, because I had to get there was a train track, so I was trying to find a shortcut around the damn train. But there was all sorts of people lined up there. I mean, there was, and the traffic. I mean, there was. People were parked people were walking 3 and 4 or 5 blocks to get up there and then standing in line. And so, but this is Oklahoma. Most of them people are carrying a gun. So I don't think people are wanting to screw around with Oklahoma people changing their ballots.
Lloyd, that wasn't what I meant.
Well, I couldn't hear, so I was just faking it.
Ballot measures, like issues to the Constitution or statutes to the law. Like here in Colorado, they have a measure to change our voting to ranked choice voting.
Oh, now I don't know of any, but that's only because I don't watch local news. You know what? On Tuesday, I'll be able to tell you next Thursday what ballot measures we had.
Well, I
do know one that has been. My inbox has been getting inundated with it. We have 3 very liberal judges on our state Supreme Court that they're wanting to. One of them is Edmondson, which the Edmondsons are their old money. They got all their money from some crookery of some sort or another. But yeah, and then they'll go on to be judges or senators or attorney generals. So, but yeah. So Edmondson, and I can't remember the other 2, but it's real. Wilcox, I think, is one of them, and the third one I can't remember. But they've sided with the Biden administration and trying to, some of the DEI stuff that's been brought up to them, and
right.
So I have an idea. They're probably, because that's in all the years I've lived here 43 years. And this is the first time I've gotten inundated with trying to, let's vote these guys out. I always do as a matter of principle. I don't think anybody should,
Yeah.
you know, when I see the same name on twice on election, Greg got the card.
Yay!
When I see a judge's name on there, 2 elections in a row, well, it's time for him to go.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just
Well,
naturally vote for him.
here in Colorado, pretty much every judge, well, state Supreme Court and the appellate courts, the lower courts, other than, the county courts, those are appointed by the governor. So ever since Governor Owens, every judge has been a liberal. So we had a situation where half the Supreme Court said, no, Donald Trump shouldn't be on the ballot. And the other half decided, yes, he should be on the ballot. And the ones that said, yes, they should be, they all went to Colorado universities, like Colorado College, University of Colorado, or University of Denver. The other judges came from Ivy League schools. And so the U.S. Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that. He goes on the ballot.
Yeah.
And so those judges, what we have what's called yes or no retention votes. And I voted no to retain these judges. And I set that on all the judges because I don't know everything about each one of those judges unless there's something on the news that says, oh, this judge is, really terrible. And then you vote no. So as a measure, I always vote no. But before, here in Colorado, everybody gets a mail-in ballot. Prior to that, we get what's called a blue book that talks about all the issue questions that are going to be on the ballot. And you go through and it gives you this side and that side and stuff. Well, what I do is I go to one of the conservative talk show hosts' website, and they usually have how they would vote, or their voter guide, they call it. And I would go through it, and about 95% of the time I would, vote the way, or vote what they think is a good choice. I, on the other hand, decided to go with ranked choice voting, which I had posted on Facebook as a question about ranked choice voting. And you should have seen all the no votes, or the no's. And I said, okay, why? Just simple question. And only a handful of people decided, answered that question. And most of them got it wrong. They said, well, that's how we got Murkowski in Alaska instead of Sarah Palin. And I said, well, Sarah Palin ran for Congress, not Senate. So that was two different, obviously that person doesn't understand what it is. And ranked choice voting is you get to go through and there'll be like 3 choices, and your first choice will be this candidate. And what they do is the person, say they tally the votes and nobody gets 50%. Then they go through ranked choice, and the lowest vote, or the lowest voting candidate, gets thrown out. And then you vote again. And then the one who gets the most votes, that gets tallied up to the original votes. And then you get to find out who the winner is. Sometimes you have to go through a third level. But I'm hoping that won't get that far because most of the time here in Colorado, it's either Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. So, and it's usually the Libertarian that splits the votes from the Republicans that might actually start helping Republicans with this ranked choice voting to where they throw out the Libertarian and then they take the next choice down, which will probably more likely be Republican. That gets added to the Republican uh, tally and quite possibly get them over 50%. And then eliminate the spoilers in elections. That's my opinion. And so Greg has an Australia optional proportional preference. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, they've got a different system down there for sure. But
Yeah.
you know, he's talking about. I was talking going back to where I was talking about those judges. I know one reason they're probably pushing for it. Our state Secretary of Education, who is a conservative, has put out a mandate in which, and I don't know, I don't know what are under what authority's done it, but he's saying that the Bible is to be taught and schools are to have it available for every student. So he's in the process of shipping Bibles to every school.
Ah, okay.
So they might want the more conservative Supreme Court justices here in the state so they can handle it until, you know, because it's going to go before the Supreme Court and it'll be thrown out. But, you know, it's ticked off a lot of people, you know, on both sides. Separation of church and state, you know, group, especially you get the separation of church and state Christian groups siding with the atheist groups and the Muslim groups and the other groups, you know, and it's like everybody's ticked off at this guy, but hey, they're talking about the Bible again in school, so.
Well, Greg, if you weren't here earlier in the show, my desktop PC crapped out on me, and
He's using his mic.
Yeah, I'm using the mic on my camera because for some reason StreamYard will not let me choose my Tascam mixer. I could click on it all I want and it just won't change. So I'm using the microphone that's on the camera. And
I'll kill that dog.
9 out of 10 Lloyd's dogs agree.
Oh, yeah.
Are they still digging around your house for the cable?
Huh?
Are they still digging for your fiber?
Oh, yeah. I went in and signed up for it, or went online to sign up, but it's not available at my house. And actually, it looks like they're running them up in the poles. So,
okay.
they're doing jumping sections, you know, and so each street, and I think once they get a whole area ready to go, then they'll start. That's true. I know. She's a loud.
Yeah. And I've got my mic cranked all the way because these guys can't hear me. So hopefully next week I'll be able to get this computer working better. What else is going on? Oh, turns out some things I'm hearing on social media like TikTok and Instagram. Kamala Harris is running out of money, and because she's been canceling some ad buys on TV. So I don't know if it's TV and radio, but that doesn't sound good when you're in
No,
a
no.
tight race and you're running out of money, and you got all these billionaire liberals that want to throw money at you, and where's the money going? Why are you running out of money? Is
Yeah,
what
I
I
think.
like.
Well, a lot of them didn't want to. They hesitated about it anyways. They started. They quit giving money to Biden. And
Right?
said they weren't going to donate anything to the Democratic Party or the liberal cause unless he stepped down. That was one of the reasons he was approached and asked us, or demanded to step down. And now she's not doing any better. Matter of fact, she's actually doing worse than Biden was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yeah, all the poll numbers were where Biden was, doing a lot better than Trump, amongst black voters and women, and she's doing worse than Trump in those areas. So
yeah.
might be a big surprise. Oh, look at that cute little dog.
Yeah. Just
Oh.
don't get out of my face, you little brat. Yeah, she's the rotten one. Yeah. She's the pushy, bossy one, she's the yeah. It looked like I was you guys were skipping or something. I don't know if it's me or if it was you guys.
Who knows what the screwy.
Yeah, well, it's 7:00 on Thursday night. People streaming television, that's why I'm looking forward to getting fiber optic, because then I don't have to worry about, all that.
Right.
I'll have 1 gig down, 1 gig up, straight across.
Ooh, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah, for about half the price of what I'm paying right now.
That's even
Actually,
better.
Yeah.
That's even better. What was I going to say? Oh, Arnold has endorsed Kamala. There's one thing Arnold knows. Hey, he knows how to screw the nannies too.
Only got about half that. I suspect it's my internet is starting to act up.
I think it is. But Charles heard it. He laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I may
almost
have to.
Done, Lloyd.
Okay, well, I'll hang in there as much as I can.
Also, we don't have to. We're not competing with the World Series anymore. The Dodgers won, and so the World Series is all done. And I don't know if Tammy is doing a show tonight. Be interesting to see if she's still going along. Yeah, so yes.
Don't forget to change your clocks this weekend.
Yeah, fall forward on Sunday.
Unless you're in Australia or down in the southern hemisphere, and then it's spring back.
They've already sprung back, yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends. There might be people over at Australia's not the only place. What about the people that watch us from, say, Argentina? They
Mm-hmm.
they may not have changed their clocks yet.
Change your blinking fluid, and take your summer air, replace that with the winter air in your tires. Mm-hmm.
Do what?
Change your summer air in your tires.
Yeah. I got to change my summer air. Yeah, got to do that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's getting that time. I'm gonna have to put in the winter air. So.
And those of you that have sundials, you need to move your house 1 block over.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that works pretty good, especially in Arkansas, because they all live in trailer homes anyways. They just move the they just drive it around the block to the other side there, and their sundial's right.
Yep, that's right. So, uh, yeah, so it'll be an interesting 5 days. I mean, you got a candidate that has comedian on, causes controversy. You had a candidate that works drive-through at McDonald's, and then you had a candidate that driving a dump truck or a garbage truck, not a good dump truck. And so that's
I
interesting.
Yeah, I think he's preparing so that he can, he'll be prepared to haul Biden and Kamala out of the White House because, best way to move them out is with a garbage truck.
Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Jay Bird, we know that. There's a story behind that. I worked at a filling station right after, or as a part-time job while I was in the service. And we had this rich old lady that would come in, and, these were franchises. So the boss, he catered to this old woman. And, she was a widow woman, but she drove this big old Cadillac, and it was well maintained. And every year, come spring and winter and fall, she'd come in and you'd have to go, and none of the other people would wait on her. And I just went one day, she says, and he told me about this woman. I said, I'll take care of her. So and we were not a full service station. But she came in and needed her air changed out. And so I went out there, I took my handy gauge. I went around to each one of her tires and let a little bit of air out of each one of them, and she saw I was kind of doing that. And then I, got out the air hose and went over and I filled each one of them right back up to where they were. And I walked back in and I said, ma'am, that takes care of you. And because of that, I got a Christmas bonus for my boss for treating her. I got like $50, $60, $50 from him, but I got $100 from the old lady. And and he didn't even get money from her. I was the only one there that got a card even,
Awesome.
Instead of arguing with her like most of the young guys did, I just went out there and thought, this is easy,
Yep.
But she was of the, like blinker fluid,
Yep.
We do that to new guys in the Air Force. Yeah, go into the tool room and tell them we need a quart of blinker fluid for our truck, our flight line truck. So
right, there you go.
New guy go traipsing in there. Of course, everybody'd laugh their ass off, and he's like, "Oh my God," Or we'd send them in for prop wash.
Prop wash, yeah, that's right.
Which was even funnier because we didn't have any propeller-driven airplanes to begin with.
Yeah, there you go.
And of course, prop wash is that wind that blows back. So there is a thing that's called prop wash, but that was what was funny. Was they'd ask, we don't have any planes with props. How can we use? Why do you need prop wash? And they, oh man.
Well, we got Ronnie. God bless America in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Glad you could make it. And so
my dogs appreciate it, Ronnie.
Charles, what's going on in your neck of the woods on the ballot wise? Any measures?
I don't know. I know that early voting is open, but me and my mom are not taking advantage of that. We're just going to go to our local polling place because it's much closer. It's literally only like 3 miles away. The early voting place is probably at least 15 miles away.
Wow.
So we're just gonna vote close to home like usual.
Okay, good. You don't have any measures like what to add to the Constitution or statutes or like we
do have this Prop 1 which is very deceptively worded.
Right.
But the idea is that it's supposed. I think it's supposed to, increase transgender teaching in schools and remove children from or remove parents of the responsibility of their children if they want to get, transgender surgery or drugs.
Okay. Yeah.
Because 12 to 16-year-olds really have a bead on what life is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead, Lloyd.
I was going to say, just when I was 18, 17, 18 years old, I had a girlfriend, and I thought, I just didn't like living at home under my parents' rule. And I thought, man, what is the best way to be able to get out of here, and get away from this without. So I thought, I'll get her pregnant and then I can move out. That is not the way to have to move out of your folks' house, let me tell you.
That's right. Yep.
And of course, that was my mistake number one, before the ugly wife.
Yep, that's right, Ronnie.
Yeah, and I don't think there's so many, they've got teams of lawyers out, and and this is the problem. Nobody trusts the polls anymore.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus people are being deceptive when they get that phone call and they give a bullshit answer that's not anywhere near the truth to the way they're going to vote. Either they're afraid to admit they're going to vote for Trump, or they want to skew it, or they just say I prefer not to do the poll, like Lloyd does.
Yeah, our standard answer around here is, we don't participate in political polls. Click.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't answer polls.
Yep. Although my phone has been blowing up on the texts. Oh, I've been getting a shit ton of
me too.
And, oh man, driving me crazy. Oh, Texas might turn blue. Could you send $5 to Ted Cruz? It's like, Texas is so red. They're not.
And you don't even know if that's legit. That could be complete. Not saying that they aren't trying to turn Texas blue. I'm sure that they are, but does this come from a legit political agency attempting to help Ted Cruz, or is this just some scammer?
Yeah.
Down in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
It's called fishing or schmishing. Yeah.
Fishing with a PH.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch the movie The Beekeeper, they really show how that works out. If you haven't seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought what he did was really well done too. I thought they deserved it.
Yep, they do. Yep. Yep, and fortunately for me, I haven't been getting, what I do is I let my phone go to voicemail, and if it's one of those polls or robocalls, they don't answer, or they don't, no message there.
Yeah, I get fraud alerts all the time on my phone. It just because I got call blocker on a lot of it, so and it updates like once a day. It does an update of numbers, and there's like 81,000 fake numbers that they're using in these scams.
Yep.
Wow.
And we got Okie Tom.
But it's just.
Oh, excuse me. Hey Tom, good to see you. Also wanted to mention last week's show was our highest rated show.
Last week was what?
Highest viewed show.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had quite a few people watching last week. That's true.
Yeah, that's right. So let's keep
Yeah.
it going. Let's grow this channel and oh, she wants some loving. Oh,
No, get. Let's sit down. There you go.
Lloyd looks like he could be in Braveheart, one of the kings.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We had we used to have a furniture factory outlet store here. Furniture factory outhouse is what we used to call it. But anyways, they went belly up, I guess, and so the store, and it's a brand new store. They just, we'd had one around for years, but they moved into this new store, and then they ended up selling them all off. So they had a Halloween place, Spirit Halloween, and I talked about doing something because I had the beer, and I thought, I'd do some sort of dark wizard or something, and so I went over there, and I ended up getting this outfit, and I also have a full wizard's cloak, but it's not going to show. So yeah, this is actually considered the dark prince. So
the Dark Prince.
It came with a cheap plastic
scepter
cane, but I bought this other one because it was cooler, the dragon cane. So
okay,
cool. But yeah, so I'm the dark prince, the dark wizard, or just some old fart that likes to dress up in funny clothes, whatever you want to call me.
Awesome. So let's see. So here in Colorado, no senators are running. What about in your state, Charles? Anybody running for
there are, but there's some confusion about who I'm supposed to vote for, supposedly.
Yeah?
I had been under Elise Stefanik's Elise Stefanik's district,
right?
But now everybody is telling me that I'm under. Is it Paul Tonko?
That'd be
Paul Tonko. But if I go to the US.gov or House.gov website and put in my zip code, it still excuse me, it still says Lee Stefanik. Now, if I pick a nearby zip code, if I pick the main zip code for Troy, New York, it'll say, it'll come back and go, well, it could be Elise or Paul. Put in your street address to determine who is your representative. So if I then throw out a fastball and put in my street address out here in the country where I am, then it comes back with Elise. But earlier in the year, supposedly there was some redistricting where some part of Elise's district did get handed over to Paul Tonko. And we've got a friend who's volunteering at the early voting place, and the nearby early voting place, and she is insisting that we are under Paul Tonko, but that place is near Troy, New York, so that particular polling place might be set up for Paul Tonko because of its street address. So I don't know. We're just gonna walk in there Tuesday, and what the F ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know definitely no matter what, I'm not voting for Paul Tonko, but I don't know who the choice would be. I don't know who he's running against, if indeed anybody.
Right. Joey Jaybird wanted to know if RFK was still on the ballot. In Michigan, he is, because he wanted to remove himself from, I think, Michigan. Is it Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona? I know it was Michigan.
Yeah. They took him off one of, it's sort of a, one state did end up taking him off,
mm-hmm.
but I think it's Michigan, and he's still drawing 3% of the vote right now under the polling. That's what they're saying. So,
okay.
uh,
Right.
so
We're hoping they'll screw Trump around, but
yeah,
it might actually
you know,
come back to bite Kamala in the butt.
Right.
yeah, it could be 3% that would have voted for Kamala that's voting for him, you know, and not Trump, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Supreme Court decision, I guess they decided they didn't want to have anything to do with it, so the lower court ruling stood. So,
Okay.
so they chose not to. But you know, Trump won a couple of the decisions this week, or one of them. I can't remember which one it was. Is Charles? Do you remember what it was?
No, I didn't. I didn't know there were any. I didn't know there was any of this stuff still.
Yeah, there was something that was. It helped out Trump, and then the one was like, eh. Oh, I know what it was. It's in Virginia, where they said that you know, those people that said they were not citizens on their rolls, they're letting the Supreme Court said they can pull those off. He did not Youngkin did not violate any regulations. So,
Right.
all of those names they took off the rolls, and the reason they said that he'd violated was because they did it within 90 days. But this was of people that already said they weren't citizens, and so they were making sure that they were off of the poll. So that was one thing that was decided in Trump's favor, you know.
No. Okay.
So it was where they had, you know, they'd come in, they'd get their driver's license or their state ID. Are you a U.S. citizen? No, I'm not. Somebody said, well, sometimes them people get confused. Okay. I don't know if they're talking about what people are talking about. Old folks, you know, maybe. Yeah, we get confused, but I'm pretty sure most of us know if we're damn citizens.
Right. Well, speaking of citizens, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. You all have a great weekend. Don't forget Artco Drones and Entertainment tomorrow, which is an hour earlier from, you know, it'll be the regular time that I'm usually on, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, and all the whining little dogs. And you all have a great weekend.
Yeah, well said, Ronnie.
Yes, and we'll see you Monday on Lloyd's show. We could do another pre-election show. Take care, everybody, and good night. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't stop. I just got a couple more things I want to say before, because this is our last show before the election.
Right.
Number one, you can't believe the polls either way. You can't go, oh, Trump is going to win this in a landslide, and then sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Go out, vote. Grab your friend. If you know somebody who's like an elderly person or a disabled person, if I can use that term, and they want to vote for Trump, or if you know some people who you could, you know, red pill and get them out to vote. This is an absolute necessity. We cannot rest on our laurels.
No,
regardless of what the polls are saying, or whether Trump is ahead or Harris is ahead, because we really don't know the truth. We have to. This is one point in time when we have to make the truth without a narrative. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is something that we have to make with our own actions and with our own conscience. That's the word I'm
conscience. Yeah.
Now, in terms of our conscience and being people of faith, the last thing that I want to say, no matter what happens with this election, God is still on the throne. If Trump wins, we still have to realize that and understand that, with all due respect to Donald Trump and the ideas that he has and the values that the Conservative Party stands for, God is still in charge. And if Trump does do something big, it's because God is acting through him to help us and answer our prayers in a good way. Okay.
Absolutely.
And if for some reason Kamala wins, whether it's by hook or crook, then he is our last refuge. He is the one that we have to cling to and pray to for our protection. And that, you know, that whatever shenanigans went on, would not like the old thing. What does it say? Any weapon formed against you will not succeed. That if this is a weapon formed against us, if she gets in there, that it will not succeed, and that, you know, things will begin to turn the way they should be, even if it's slower than what we would like.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's absolutely, you're absolutely right, Charles, and every bit of that. And just, you know, this is a country, and you know, and if
be careful, Lloyd, you're starting to sound like Kamala.
The American president said, you know, being a citizen is not easy. You have got to fight for it. You know, you've got to put up with the guy that stands on the corner and says stuff that you would just want to beat him up for, but you've got to let him because he has a right to free speech. And if you want to be a citizen of this country, you damn sure better go out, because it's not given to you. Well, unless you're a Democrat, but it's not given to you. All jokes set aside, you've got to earn that right. And if you lose all of your rights, it's because you didn't stand up and be counted.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that's that, you know, and that's the, Charles, everything you said. And this is what we got to remember. Tuesday isn't the end game, but it's hopefully we'll know something, you know.
Yep.
All right. Everybody, good night, everybody, and catch you next
Good night,
time.
folks.
Good night, everyone.
See you next week.
Yep.